Hello, hope everyone's doing well. Today, I'm going to talk about PvP and how do you do it, how do you progress, and things to look out for, and what is the current meta in terms of units to use. So, just get underway with the three things to remember when doing PvP. Number one, always remember to do your PvP attempts. It sounds silly, but you get 15 attempts per day. One at the server reset, one 12 hours after the server reset, and then a third 6 hours after second reset. So this will be Pacific time, 12 at midnight, 12 at noon, 6 p.m. So keep that in mind. And change that for your time zone. Forward a couple hours, back a couple hours, whatever. So remember to do your attempts, because if you don't, miss out on a ton of points, and then you can't progress. Second, always make sure to fight someone higher rank than you are. This is because if you don't, you can't get the maximum amount of points. Which sucks. So in the higher ranks, you only get 10 points per battle if you win. But if you fight someone who's even one rank lower, you lose a point. You only get 9 points, which if you're trying to get up to first and take a screenshot for a little bit while you're still up there, flex, you can't do that, which is unfortunate. And then third, if it looks like a battle's kind of close, but looks like you're going to lose, or if you just get curb stomped and you want to try something else, you can always hit the pause in the upper right-hand corner of a battle and leave, and it will not use your attempt. So keep that in mind. I know it sounds scummy, but everyone does it, so just join the crew. And then a fourth thing is the refreshes. Just be aware, you only get 5 per day, not 5 per reset, 5 per daily reset. And sometimes it just gives you people who are lower ranked than you nonstop, especially if you're already high ranked. So that's unfortunate, but you'll have to deal with it. So it just kind of sucks. Next, okay, we're going to talk about the meta units, who is good. This fleet, pretty decent. One exception. For your tank over here, Anchorage, best in slot. She's the best. She's really tanky, really dodgy. So she's a doubly good tank, good at HP and defense, and also good at evasion. So really good. I also have the elite damage control unit on her. So she just survives longer. Gets extra 8 seconds of life to distract. And then for the next two, it's just damage. Shimakaze and Duka. Shimakaze here for really strong torpedoes. And then Duka is also here for strong torpedoes, but she has some other stuff she does as well. So here's her strong torpedoes. She has a really good barrage. That's really nice. And she also reduces your frontmost Vanguard unit, so in my case, Anchorage, takes 8% less damage from torpedoes. That's really good. And once she gets low, makes a shield that restores HP and blocks torpedoes. So, really, really good. And then I have Pearl's Tears on here. This is another good item to have, just for the heal when she goes down. I've noticed ever since I put it on her, she hasn't really gone down too much, which is unfortunate. And Shimakaze, as you saw for briefly, damage. There are some other options for your frontline here that I've seen. One is Juno here for the old Martyr Plus retrofit. So make sure she's retrofitted to get the most out of this. And you can also put the Pearl's Tears on Juno. That way, Juno gets an extra heal on top of that. Juno's a really good option. Another good option is Harbin from ER5, the Chinese ship. So just she has incredibly strong torpedoes and less damage from those takes. So really, really good. She was a surprise one I saw that was like, wow, I haven't built her yet, but she's really strong in PvP. Let's give her a shot. And then for these last two slots, Really good combo is Noshiro and Ayanami, just for torpedo damage. And you can run Noshiro Shimakaze, Noshiro Udachi, Shimakaze Udachi, Ayanami Udachi, something like that. You know, they're decently dodgy in terms of tanking that way. Don't get hit as much, but they are still, you know, pretty fragile. But they're here for the damage. And a lot of them have reloads. That's really good. I didn't really talk about alternatives to Anchorage because she's the current meta, but I will say this. I found that the large cruisers all die extremely quick. So this is your A-Gears, your Azumas, your Kronstadts. I haven't seen anyone use Breast, so I'm unsure about her, but I assume it's a similar story with her. I think the one with the best survivability out of the lot I've seen is A-Gear, and she's kind of similar to Anchorage in that regard. I feel like Anchorage is more tanky, and A-Gear is a bit more offensively focused. Alright, next up, backline. So we have Aquila, New Jersey, and Musashi. The two that I found just universally used is New Jersey and Musashi, with Aquila being swapped out for various other ships. These two in the back, these two battleships, the current meta right now. New Jersey speaks for herself. Damage, damage, damage. This barrage, really good. Makes herself really strong. I have the Georgia gun on her, just for, it's really fast, and it's really strong. I also have the fire control table on her. The other fire control radars also work for that extra 15% loading time increase for first volley, which is really good for the beginning of the battle. And the Musashi is also here for a barrage, which is really strong, especially if you have a Sakura Empire gun on her, which unfortunately there isn't many good options right now for Sakura Empire battleship guns. Helps if you actually click the button correctly, because the gun from her event is just so slow. Over 9 seconds slower. That's ridiculous. So, you know, the extra damage and firepower, you miss out on 2 extra shots, so it's, you know, what's the point? This is okay, but I'm just running, and then this is another option you can run. But it seems like the one I have on her right now, which is an upgrade version of this, so it's just a better version, is best for her because it's so fast. It also has the fire control radar. And then if she's not your flagship, so make sure she's not in the middle, she takes 30% less damage. Really, really good. And then last up in my fleet is Aquila. She's got the Hellcat with the rockets. These don't do great damage against heavy armor enemies. You see modifiers only 50, as opposed to the light being 140 and medium being 110. The good news is most enemies you'll face in the front line, their vanguard, are light or medium armor. Like Anchorage is only medium armor. The destroyers are all light armor, so that's really good. Yeah, there could be someone throwing A-Gear, but I have other things to deal with that. And this dive bomber, just really strong. Good aviation stat. Has bombs and the rockets, so can do double work. And then Wyvern, really good torpedo bomber. Best torpedo bomber, parallel torpedo bomber there is currently. It's good aviation, really good damage, and it just covers the screen. And then Radiant Starlight, make sure you have a dive bomber, in her second slot, so she has that preload, and she has increased damage by 8%. Yeah, really, really good ship there. In terms of other backline options, you can swap either New Jersey or Musashi out for Vittorio Veneto, especially if you're using Aquila and Duca. That's a really good option. She buffs your Sardinia ships, and she has a special barrage. That's really, really good. And then another option, instead of Aquila, you could run Hiryu, for final counter. Makes her immune to all damage for 15 seconds, which she would sink. So that's really, really potent. Lets her get off a lot of extra hits, or at least one extra flight, and maybe a couple extra barrages here. And hope, and that might take out someone instead of her just sinking and doing nothing. Sadit's, same thing. Unsinkable Legend, just a better version of Final Counter. Yeah, really good. Sadit's was kind of a, like Carbon, a surprise shout for me because I didn't think she was that good. I also didn't really pay attention much during this event, and I ended up getting Sadit's. But, yeah, really good. And she's a battle cruiser, so there's not battle cruisers that are really good or kind of slim pickings. But, hard mode is a thing, and there are sometimes requirements that need battle cruisers, so really good option there. A surprise shout, a really surprising one, was Shinano, just because I found the UR carriers are just kind of slow. They do a lot of damage, but they're just so slow and they get hit really easily. But if you run her with a double Tenrai or double Wyvern, really, really potent. There's one person on the Magi server I found that is able to pull off Shinano well. I think it's a double Tenrai with a Wyvern. So if you run that combo, that's really good. And lastly, Enterprise. Still really, really good because she just has 70% chance to dodge all attacks for 8 seconds, which is annoying as hell. So be aware of that. Other things, so if you use this fleet, or you can mix and match of what you have or what you like, but this should do you well, and you can just reset if it doesn't, if you're close, and it looks like you can win. But sometimes, if you don't have much of your ship's Oath, like I only have out of this fleet New Jersey Oath, you can face the same fleet and lose because they have just better stats than you. But RNG can also make you win. Sure, save, I didn't change anything. And then lastly, Defense Fleet. This doesn't really matter. People can just reset and retry, or just refresh and fight someone else. So you can just, have ships you like in here, or have a theme fleet you don't get to use, and just, or have your ships that you want to flex off. Like, hey, I got a Oath 125 Bunker Hill in New Orleans. That's something you can do. So I wouldn't worry too much about defense fleet. Just put your attack fleet in there, because people just choose not to fight you, which is a thing. Alright, I believe that's all I want to talk about. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this was helpful. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.